Hey there, this is Biden657. I wanted to make a video today talking about Genshin Impact and my experience with it. As close by, or if not, today marks the 1000th day of me playing it. And yes, I'm a day one player and have been playing it pretty much every single day. If not, maybe I missed like a day or two, but that's pretty much it. Disclaimer. I want to make it clear that I'm not an expert on it. I'm not a reviewer. I'm not like one of those content creators that are, like dissecting the numbers and all that other stuff. I'm just a regular guy who's just playing the game since the beginning, enjoying it, and just give my 2 cents on the game itself. This all started a few days before release. One of my friends mentioned about the game to me, and I wanted to know what it was. So when the game came out, I actually had a lot of fun with it. I liked the characters, I liked the gameplay, the story behind it, the landscape, and just pretty much everything all around. Probably within the first month, that's when me and my friends were playing online. Almost, I want to say every day, if not for sure me, I was playing every day. And they were like on back and forth, like every other day or so forth. But we had a lot of fun with it, and it was all good times and everything. Say about 2 or 3 months in, I was pretty much getting all the battle passes. I was finishing up the stories. I was still playing it every single day, and the game was still fun to me. And yeah, a few of my friends were kind of, falling off of it, but I didn't really care honestly, because at the end of the day, the way I see it is like, yeah, you play games with your friends, they have a good time, of course, that's all fun. But at the same time too, I don't want to play the game and enjoying it myself. And also, it's basically like a one-player game unless you're obviously getting into groups with like 3 other people to make a 4-party, Not only that too, but may I remind you that this was also in 2020 where, the stuff happened and how everybody was, locked down in their homes. So this was a perfect time for me to, just play the game like continuously. Want to say I was spending like maybe 2 hours at least, and probably the most back then at least. I think I was on it for like 6 hours. So yeah, 2 to 6 hours like per day on that. And again, this was us just being at home and not really doing much. I guess I remember how the community was too, where most of us were pretty much like all happy-go-lucky people, or like able to help each other out. And we just we'll like ask each other, hey, what's your ID? We'll join each other's roles, and of course get into the news, the new characters, and what to do, how to build, and so on and so forth. Basically, it was kind of a different time, and I guess I want to say it was a different world too, towards the beginning of it. Even all the content creators who were, started making it, they all seemed excited. They're all like, oh, this is so much fun. This is like the game of the year, and it's just amazing. And yeah, it was, like all of us pretty much really had a good time back then. Of course, let's also not forget too that besides being an RPG game, this was also a gacha game too. For those who are watching this, I'm pretty sure you know that what a gacha is. That, of course, how Genshin Impact is, all about that. Besides the game itself, and even from the beginning, and even till this day, let's just say that the luck isn't there all the time. Although I do recall a few times where I did get lucky. For example, how when the Staff of Homa came out, yeah, everybody was all for that. They said, oh, this is the best weapon ever, and so forth. And it still is pretty good, actually. But I remember people were, like, putting all their money into it. They're trying to get it, and we were like, we need this weapon, get the weapon. And, yeah, I actually tried it in the beginning, too. Now, I didn't really put much money into it. I just tried to get it as best I can, and I didn't get it at first. However, when it came out again, the second time, I remember getting it, and I think I got it either in a temple or less. No, it was less. Not remember. I actually got it, in 3 pulls, 2 single ones. I was like 1, 2, and 3. I was like, oh, okay. So it wasn't that hard to get the staff. One of the other good things, too, back then was having all these content creators come around to play this game. Like, there was, like, many of them, and some of them are still around doing some of it, if not, like half of them probably fall off, which is okay, because that's what happens to games after a little while. But yeah, but back then though, everybody was on it. They were talking about it. They were kind of like praising it and just having a good time and recording all their findings and the progress in the game, and of course, doing the Spiral Abyss. Now, I want to get into a brief summary of what I think about the game as a whole. So, from the start to the present time right now. When it comes to the story, it has grabbed my attention since the beginning, and it still is right now. When it comes to the main quest, the size, the events, pretty much almost everything. I say almost because there are some things where I don't really care about, and some of those will be the side quests, mainly the NPCs that we don't really see or or interact much with. But there are a few of them that do have their qualities. If I'm being honest, I will say that the story is one of the main reasons why I'm still playing this game. From the beginning, like I said, it's grabbed my attention, it helps right now, and I do want to finish the game and see where the story ends. The next main thing what I like about this game are the characters. Let's be honest, if it wasn't for the characters, then the game itself wouldn't be as interesting. A few characters I actually do like within the game are Arataki Ito, Yorimiya, Yaimiko, and Nahito, to name a few of them. Now, when it comes to characters I like personally, the top 3 I can name in my head are Eula, Ganyu, and Shinha. I don't think I had to really explain myself on those 3. But if I had to explain myself, I'd want to say that they are cool characters. We'll leave it as that. Jokes aside though, I actually really do like them because of how they look and who they are and what they can do. A third main reason why I'm still into this game is just how the game looks in general. Like for a mobile game, it looks really good from the other games that I've seen in the past or even any kind of gacha games. I know a previous game they worked on before was Honkai Impact 3rd, and even that game is really good, especially the combat and how it plays and everything. Any environment that I was into, whether it's the woods, the snowy mountains, the desert lands, it all looked really good. Now, of course, because of how the game is, I don't expect top, tier graphics of, how realistic it looks and everything because, well, one is like an anime game. So, I mean, do you expect that to be, looking too realistic? No, you don't. But as for an anime game, and like I said, a mobile gacha game, it looks really good though. And I very much enjoy that, and bravo for the team to design all that. Even the characters on how they look is much appreciated when it comes to their hair, their clothes, their outfits, and even how they fight. Now, usually some of them do have similar animations of when it comes to the attack button and everything. But if you actually look towards the middle of their hit combo or even at the end, you can tell each one of them has their own unique kind of way of fighting, which does bring out what kind of character they are too. Now, I do want to do a brief summary of the good, the bad, and the ugly within the community itself. I pretty much already stated the good stuff already, so I guess I could say about the bad stuff. One of the, quote, bad things about the game is how, over time, it will just eventually lose players. This isn't much of a shocker, as this pretty much happens on, every other game out there. Once it's new, everyone's hyped about it. Might last for a few months or whatever. And then that's when players, go off somewhere else, play another game, or just, don't want to do the time and the extra, commissions or whatever, which is totally understandable because it is repetitive on what you do. There's a funny saying out there when doing dailies where you'll log on, do your daily commissions, and then log off. And then I remember seeing a meme where you had the old guy giving you a thumbs up. And it's not actually wrong. It's just that that's what everyone does when playing Genshin Impact. The only difference is that those who actually do that, or those who do that and do other stuff too, like collecting materials for food, or for your weapons, or materials to level up your characters, and doing other side quests too if they're available. But even with that, that's where these got boring for a lot of players because, like I said, it was repetitive. And then you have your patches, of course, where, we get new stories and new quests and everything. But it was once every, I'm correct, I think it was once every month and a half or like almost close to like 2 months. So it's like once you finish the story, which could take you like what, maybe like a week, then like that's it. Then it's like what else you do, One of the other bad things within the game was how the story itself it is as a whole, mainly with the events that we had. If I recall right, I think it was actually the very first event we had with Mona Official that dealt with like the stars falling, and there were actually important dialogues between them with Scaramouche when we first met him, and what was going to happen later on in the story. The thing was, though, that was within an event, meaning that there was a time limit on it. So those who didn't participate in it or were too late to finish up the event itself, or they get a chance to actually, do it in the first place, were missing some actually important information from it. So they would have to go on YouTube or ask someone else to get that information. But that was one of the main issues that we had. And of course, the community was like, why would you do this? This is bad. Which, honestly, for me, I actually do agree. Now, the events do share some plot details and more information about the characters. Yeah, that's true. But if you're going to have actual information within the story itself, like the main story and how things are going on, then yeah, maybe it's not a good idea to involve them in events, or at least put them into something to where people can't just, access it to, even like new players today, that they can access it to it later, or they can't. And if they can't, then just don't add them in the events, don't add them in anything else, whatever. Only keep them in the ones that they'll eventually come into. So now, when it comes to the ugly, honestly, I think that's actually a topic that can be talked about by itself, or just put on the side of it, because there's a lot of ugliness that has happened within the community, and probably some stuff that I probably can't say on YouTube, or at least can't really think of all like the details about it. Like I would literally have to like go back and look up all the stuff and be like, oh yeah, I remember that. Oh yeah, that's right, that happened. Or oh my god, I can't believe that happened. And some of that stuff does involve with content creators too, as well. But basically, it's like, if you know, you know. If you don't, like I said, that could be something talked about later on. Maybe I'll do that later. But I guess I could say for the other part, it's just that there's just some disagreements within the community from each other. And yeah, everybody has their own opinions about, the game, the characters, and the people themselves. But some can be a bit harsh on like others. Some can say this and that, basically be rude, or just put down each other, and it's just a mess. Like I said, that's just I don't know, something, but that's just the sum of it right there. I guess one other ugly thing that I can mention too would be criticism. Now, criticism is valid, it really is, because criticizing things just tells the person of like the wrongdoings or what's going on, or like someone sharing their opinion on saying like the improvements on what they can work on, or what needs to be done, or hey, how about this? And most of them are, I want to say, like, can be seen as in, yeah, they're right, or okay, that's interesting, or like someone could say, oh yeah, I can work on that. However, there are also, I guess, like a few of them that probably wouldn't be considered as criticism exactly to people, and put quotes on that too, because someone could criticize about something, and basically their criticism is just, straight out just saying, oh, that's bad, this is bad, and then the part where it's, quote, a criticism is where someone would say like, oh, well, why? And they'd be like, because it's just bad, that's it. And they're like, okay, well, why? Because usually with criticism, there's like a reason behind it. And people who, have criticism will give the reasons why. If they can't, then they're just, talking out of their mouths, or they're probably just, following a trend or a train that people are just saying, oh, this is bad. And then someone will look at that and be like, oh, well, if they say it's bad, then I guess I must also think it's bad too. But no, we all have our different minds. We all have our different opinions and how we see things. Of course, we're not all gonna get along with what we think, or we're not all gonna agree on everything and so forth. But again, there's nothing wrong with actually pointing out like the bad stuff, or pointing out like what can be improved and things that can be done. I know one criticism would be like the story itself, how people can say, oh, well, they shouldn't have done this, or oh, this can be improved here, or say like, it's boring, or details that could be either explained better, or they should have added it, or they didn't need to add it. That reminds me, actually, the not need part, there's one thing that most people probably agree on, if not half the community agrees on, is with Paimon. How she literally repeats pretty much what's happening, or what someone just said, or it's like a reminder all the time. And I know, if I'm thinking about it right now, I think most people don't like that, because they'll be like, I know, shut up. Even myself, I'll admit, I've had my moments like that too. I'm like, okay, Piper, I know, I get it. I don't really say it out loud, because to me, I feel like if you say it like out loud, then you're just really letting that bother you, and everything. But in my head, I'll be like, yep, I get it, okay. But the thing is, though, with that, is that let's not forget that we do have young people playing it like kids. Granted, I know, kids are not that stupid. Trust me, I know. I was a kid before. I wasn't that stupid. I caught on to most things in my life and everything. So that part I do agree on. But also at the same time too, it's like, okay, well, if they don't know what's happening exactly, or they need to simplify something, then there's Paimon who can do it. Even for teenagers or even adults too, if they have to. But yes, on the most part, I do agree. She doesn't really have to repeat everything that's happening, or relay all the stuff, because it's like, well, I've been doing this for however long I've been playing it, and yes, you said this like 2 times already, or 3 times, or it's been mentioned all these times. It's like, okay, chill. Those are just some thoughts that I have about the good, bad, and ugly of what's in the game, and just like a short summary of it. Now comes the present time. And after almost 3 years of playing this game, how is it today? Well, after playing 1,000 days and still going, yeah, I do want to say that I am still enjoying the game. Since the beginning, I've had 3 main goals. One of them is completing the story. Now, I don't see the story ending until another, I want to say, at least 3 years of it. Because if you've been noticing, every year we've always had like 1 new Archon and 1 new region. Except for the first year, because the first year we had 2 of them, which is Venti and John Lee, and going to Mondstadt and Leeway. But besides that though, ever since then, every year we've had a new Archon and new region, and having new characters within that region itself. So going on that pattern, there's gonna be 2 more regions at least, and that'll be with the Pyro Archon as well as a Cryo one, which is supposedly the main villain of the plot, or like of what's going on with the Fatui. However, I don't think they're just gonna stop right there. If anything, they'll probably give like another year of like to kind of like sum it up, or be like, oh hey, here's what's happening now that we've explored all these places, and then like meeting people and knowing what's going on. But of course they can always expand that, because each time we see a new Archon go to the region, all we're doing is knowing more of the main plot, of course, but also getting to know the characters, exploring the new lands, and this takes up a whole entire year. So with all that being said, even after we do all the stuff for the next 2 or 3 years, they can still add on to the main story, or just add on more conflicts to the characters that we have and what's going on. The second main goal I have is to collect all the characters. So far, I'm only missing Baiju, and Kave. Now, I didn't exactly want to skip them, but they weren't much importance to me because I'm more of a, waifu over everything else. I'll admit that. But also because of, for financial reasons as well. But I was actually trying to get at least Kave, but of course, I got the other 4-star characters instead, and I didn't get one copy of him. So I was like, well, it is what it is. But yeah, but that is one of my main goals, is to collect all of them. And besides those two, I do have all of them. And I do have, obviously some constellations of the 5 stars, mainly because of the struggle of trying to get that 1 4-star. Like, what, before? Or no, afterwards, because I got Kiara. And holy crap, like, I got one copy of her, but it took so many pulls and everything that I eventually got, like multiple 4 stars, and I of course, got the 5-star, and I was like, oh my god. My third main goal is to have all my characters at their best potentials, meaning having them as strong as they can be, at being the best, like DPS, support, or anything else. Now, I know that that's going to probably take a long time too, because, granted, I'm still working on actually all my characters. Like, I do have, all of them at level 80, or here, no, actually, I have all my 5 stars at level 90, and I have all my 4 stars at level 80, except for a few of them as an exception. But even at that level, they do have all their artifacts and sets. However, most of them only have their artifacts, I think I want to say, at level 16, except for the 5-star characters. I think most of them have them at, max level 20. But even so, though, I know for sure that all of them don't have artifacts that can, give their best, potential that they can be at, or basically have them as the strongest that they can be. And thanks to how, this is a gacha game, and, you have your, RNG, I believe. So, yeah. For some people, it can take them a very short time. For others, it can take them a very long time. I've even seen people that say, like, oh, I haven't had this since, months ago, or, oh, it took me a whole year just to get this one thing. And it's ridiculous. But, it is what it is. So, if you have the patience and time for it, you can always make the character, stronger. The only exception, though, is if you're a whale. So, there's that. Those are the top 3 main reasons why I'm still playing the game. Although, if I could add a 4th reason, it would be the characters themselves, because if you have boring characters, then you kind of have a boring game. So, there's that. Even with those reasons, my investment into the game has gotten down. Now, that doesn't mean it's gone way down, or I'm barely playing anymore, or I'm doing the, daily logins and then that's it. No. Basically, like, my investment into it has been from, playing it for, an hour or 2 the most now, whereas before, it was playing it for at least 2 hours. Easily. Reason being is because, I have a life, so I got a family, I got a job, and, just things, happen to where, I can't put much time into the game, which is totally fine, because, that stuff comes first anyways. That, and also, I actually am playing other games too. And I'm actually playing other gacha games. So, my investment into it can't be, putting, so much into Genshin anymore, to where I'm playing other ones. Like, I've been playing Nikkei, and I'm a day 1 player on that too, and I'm enjoying that so far. I also been playing, Azure Lane, that I just got into since last year. And, of course, with the new game from Hoyoverse, Honkai Star Rail, which I've also been playing since day 1. And I haven't been playing that, like a hardcore person, or these content creators who finished the game, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, or a month ago, or something like that. No, I'm still playing that, just very casually, though, because I got other things to do as well. Oh, and also, I've been playing Blue Archive 2 for the past year, and as well as, I might butcher this, Higan Iruthael, and decent, but haven't put too much investment into it though. With all that being said, those are my thoughts and a very brief summary of what I think about the game as a whole, or like what's been happening. Now, I can actually make more videos or talk about more stuff about the game into like certain topics or certain situations. So instead of talking for a few minutes or really quick about something, I can easily talk about one thing and turn it into like a 15-minute conversation or a half hour or an hour, or depending on what the topic is itself. So maybe later in the future I can talk about just more details about the game or just certain things, or depending on if you guys want me to talk about it at all. Plus also, it's been 1,000 days since I've been playing Genshin, and I figured like, you know what, I'll make like a short video of my thoughts about the game, since the beginning until now. Honestly, I can't believe it's been like 1,000 days already. I'm not sure if I spent that much on a game at all in my entire life. Like 1,000 days? I mean, yeah, of course, I have games that I've been having for years and years, but playing it every single day since then? Yeah, no, I don't think I've been doing that at all to any game. And honestly, I think that just means, how special of a game Genshin Impact is to me since the beginning and until now. And this has been like the very first game that I've been playing since the beginning, and I'm still on it. Granted, yeah, I'm pretty sure there's been, a few days that I missed, because I'm pretty sure, like, there are probably other people who maybe have already, hit the 1,000 day, like what, maybe like a few weeks ago and everything. I don't know. To be honest, I mean, hey, for all I know, I'm the only one. I don't know, but yeah. So I just wanted to make this short video of what's been happening, and like I said too, if you guys want me to talk about more things about the game, or some more personal things or whatever, just let me know on the comments. Give us a like, share it, and yeah, see what happens. But I want to thank you for watching or listening and taking the time to get into this. I appreciate it very much, and all of you, have a blessed day.